Hi everyone, in this tutorial we're gonna be doing a Mobius geometry using Rhino. I also have another tutorial in which I use Grasshopper to produce this shape too, so make sure you check that out. We're gonna start with a circle. So what a Mobius geometry is, or the Mobius strip, is a geometry that's been twisted around a circle, 360 degrees. You can also rotate it even more than 360, maybe 2 or 3 revolutions. It will create a different result. So we're gonna start by doing a really simple section. So we're gonna rotate this square along the circle 360 degrees. So to do this, we're gonna copy it on every 90 degrees. Just make sure they're all perpendicular to the circle. So we need to rotate this too. Okay, so now we're gonna use the left command and select them in order and adjust the seams. So we're gonna be rotating it clockwise, so just make sure the seams go where they need to go on each corner, and you can close it. This is our first result. If you see here the 45-degree angles, it gets actually narrower instead of like retaining the thickness. So we're gonna add some more sections at these angles. So I'm gonna copy this in its same place, and I'm gonna rotate it 45 degrees. Also rotate it here. And here I can do a ray polar to make it faster. Choose the center of the circle for items at 360. It gives you all sections. So now we're gonna loft this again. So this is our Mobius geometry, and if you compare it with the previous one, you can see that now it's the right thickness and a more consistent shape. So we can get rid of this one. And you can also do it even more another revolution. You use divided the sections and put them according to the number of rotations. So like for example, in this case we're gonna be doing 2 revolutions. This is a Mobius geometry that has been twisted twice. Alright, so let's say you don't want a square, but you want your own custom section. We can go ahead and create something more custom than a simple geometry. So I'm just gonna create some shape here. Say this is our section. Now, one thing that you do need to make sure in order to get the wireframe correct is that it has to be a continuous curve. It can be can have like this corners, because then it's gonna be different surfaces. Where it's gonna be loft. This is a different surface from this one, and just the wireframes are not gonna match up. So in order to fix that, we're gonna fillet this corners. So let's put the radius to maybe 0.5. Okay. The same here. You can make it even lower if you want. And we're gonna join this into one single curve. And let's scale this. Okay, so let's say this is our shape. So let's try to put it somewhere along the center. Let's just do it here, and also I'm gonna place a point in which I'm gonna base my seams. So now I'm gonna group this so I can copy it around and rotate it. And maybe this is a little bit too big. Let's scale this down a little bit more. Okay. Now I'm gonna copy this around and rotate it. Before I do that, I'm just gonna rotate them all here. I'm gonna show you a faster way to do all the rotations faster than going each view and rotate them each individually. So I'm gonna create 8 sections, 360 degrees. So these are all my sections. So now this is my initial shape. I'm gonna be picking every other one. For example, this one. This one, you'll see what I'm trying to do in a while. I'm gonna rotate them 45 degrees. And now it's a little bit confusing, but if you get this right, so this is my initial shape. I'm gonna select every other one. So this is the initial one, this is the one who follows, which is right here. So the next one will be this one. And the next one, this one, will be this one. So I'm gonna rotate it 90 degrees. And the same thing for the next one, which will be this one. And that one. You can always find it by the point. It's really easy. It's easier that way. And then the last one is this one and this one. Okay, so now that we have all our sections lined up, we're gonna loft them. I don't know how it's gonna look. Oh, before that, make sure you ungroup it. Okay, so they're just curves. So let's start the loft. Okay, so we have our shape. So what we can do with this now is Gonna extract a wireframe. First, we're gonna rebuild it. So let's rebuild. And probably we need more. Initially this has 8 and 35, so let's see how it looks like that. Yeah, probably it's too low. Let's do this 100. That's about right. And let's do 36. Okay, this is fine. So now I'm gonna extract a wireframe. I'm gonna move it to a different layer. Also, while I have this selected, I'm gonna unselect the horizontals and move the sections to a different layer. So now we have section curves. It's a pretty cool shape. So now let's start with the sections first. In order to get them thickness, it's a little bit tricky. Try to extrude, but it will extrude along one direction here on Rhino. So the best way to go about this is by making this a planar surface. And then offsetting this surface. Just do both sides solid and probably 0.02, 0.03. See how this looks. Okay, maybe a little bit more. Let's do solid both sides, 0.05. So it's 0.1 thick. It's about right. Oops. Now we can just delete this other surfaces, so we can do select surface. 103 surfaces, how did that came out? Okay. And in order to cut them across, we're gonna use our original shape and we're gonna Boolean them. So we're gonna offset this probably, let's flip this to the other direction. And let's do 0.03. So let's move this to the side. And this, we're gonna use this to Boolean our surfaces. Actually, let's offset it even more. Okay, so now also the Boolean takes a lot of memory, so if you have anything else open, make sure you close it. Or if you have a bunch of stuff on your scene, you can always just save this, save a copy with just this geometry and do it, because if not, it will just crash. Just to give you a tip. So what we're gonna be doing, and actually let me save this just in case. Okay. I'm gonna change this to a different layer. So I'm gonna do Boolean intersection, or Boolean difference, sorry. Select all the shapes, then select this to cut it, and let's just wait for the computer. So what we can do, this works if there wasn't this really nasty seam. So don't worry, what we can do is we can explode this. It's gonna be a little bit painful, but I'm gonna be just selecting. What we can do is we can just delete here whatever is in between them. Alright, so now that we have our sections, we can offset them. So we can do the offset surface, solid, and for the horizontals, and also make sure you don't have double, especially on the seam, that you have only one curve, because sometimes it has double, whatever the seam says, so it's good. So now for this horizontal ones, we can just do, we can do an extrude. What I do, I'll extrude them both sides. Let's change the direction. Let's do 0.015. So these are gonna be thinner than the sections. And probably it should be a little bit more. So both sides, and then do 0.02. Yeah, this is about right. And now we can select this and do an offset surface. Solid both sides. Probably we'll do 15. Alright, so now you have your structure in place. And you can use this as your windows, and if you put it here, there will be right there where the windows should be. So that's a good way to use this shape. And also, well, what we can also do, we can do contours on the shape. So if we do contours here along this direction, every 1 unit maybe, you can change this to a different layer. We can do a planar surface. You have all your floors. And when you turn this on, you have a really cool space. Oh, look at that. Probably you can make some of them like double story height. And if you want, you can also get a little more creative and, for example, let's cut this. say you want some sort of opening here. You're gonna cut this. Let's put this upwards. Now let's move this. Let's move the control points of this. Let's say they went at an angle like this. This one's opening too. So now we can loft this. And loft this too. We can use this to trim our floors. I may leave that one. Then here, let's leave those two on the top. I mean, let's leave that one. That's fine. You'll probably design this. I'm just eyeballing it. So just improvising as I go. Sometimes that's how you get things that are interesting. And finally, you can select the surfaces, set surface, maybe 0.02. To give them height. It's too thin. Well, these are floors, so this is 0.1. So you have it. And if this is doing this, what you can do, you can offset the main shape, maybe 0.1 inward, and then get the contours of that shape. So you have this slabs inside instead of like right on the edge. That's how you create the Mobius shapes and get the structure out of them. Well, thank you, and check the other tutorial on Grasshopper to create this shape.